Hello everybody, this is Jen. I was asked to help show you guys how to make zoodles a little more efficiently and with a little bit better results. This is a zucchini noodle. This is just a spiralized zucchini. This can be done with carrots, jicama, or daikon radishes, things like that. But for that bolognese recipe that I posted yesterday on Try Day Friday, I wanted to show you how to make the zoodles in the picture, but make them a little bit better than what I posted. Sometimes when I do a picture, it's just more for appearance than it is actual for eating. That's a very common misconception. People don't realize that when people do food design, the food is not exactly as you think it is. It's quite often has a couple stunt features to it that make a picture really good but don't actually make for good eating. So in the picture you'll notice the noodles are bright green and look really gorgeous. Now that's not how you get a nice consistent noodle for eating without having extra sloppy liquid permeating your plate and making it gross. So I'm going to show you how to make zoodles properly. First thing you need is going to be a spiralizer. This is basically a double-ended pencil sharpener with sharp teeth on the inside. There's a small side. Sorry, you can't see real well, but there's a small tooth side and there's a larger tooth side. I'm using the larger one just so I can show you what it looks like in the pan. Again, I've got my white stunt pan for you so you can see what's going on. We'll get a close-up of that later. So basically, take your zucchini into your pencil sharpener and put the blades pointing down and give it a twist. Now I stop about every 5 or 6 turns and break them off and make them bite size, make them portion size. So that's basically the zoodles and how to make them. Now you can buy that spiral gizmo at Walmart. They have them in the cooking department. You can buy them online. There's dozens of places to get these things. They're not hard to find. One important thing to know when you're making zoodles is you want to get your pan what they call screaming hot. And by screaming hot, I mean where you would almost the temperature you would sear a steak at, but a little bit less. So we're going to scoot up the works here and see if I can get zeroed in on the pan. There we go. There's a stunt pan. If you hear, listen for ticking. Yeah, of course it stopped. You can hear my pan's heating up over the electric burner. This is over medium. This is a very lightweight pan, so it conducts heat very quickly. It's good for fast vegetable sauteing, not quite for steaks, but good for vegetables. I also have a couple tools laid out here. I have a strainer with paper towels in it. That's very crucial. My oil of choice, this is actually almond oil. A pair of tongs. And I have also my favorite, the heat-proof spatula. Get a bunch of these. These are really worth it. This is silicone. Get a bunch of different colors. I have red for when I do chilies because chili oil stays in the spatula. I've got white and yellow for onions and garlic. I have pure pink ones for sugar work, so I know which ones are color-coded for what job. Anyway, heat-proof spatula is going to be one of your best friends for cooking. So my pan is hot. I can feel it hot. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in, and I'm going to go very fast so I don't scorch my oil. So really quick, good squirt of oil, and I want to listen for the noise. Now, a handful at a time is going to be your friend here. You don't want to overcrowd the pan because we want a lot of evaporation to come off of these noodles. The biggest problem people have is their noodles get wet and stay wet, and that's because your temperature is not high enough, you're not cooking them long enough, and also you're making the mistake of salting them while they're in the pan. Vegetables that are very high in water content love crystals like salt, and fruit especially like sugar. That's why when you put sugar over strawberries, you get that liquid on the bottom, that's the maceration. You'll get maceration here in the pan as well if you put salt on the vegetables, or salt them and they're not dry enough and they'll ooze all over your plate. So don't salt your zoodles. That's the biggest problem people have, and no one can figure out why until they realize it's just because you're putting salt on. So I'm going to scoot up a little closer and maybe we can get a better video here in the pot. There we go. Okay, so I'm letting these sit, so I'm going to spread them out a little bit. Patience, patience, patience. Don't fuss with your food. Don't touch your food. Let it go do its thing. Yes, we're going to get some color on these, and no, that's not a bad thing, because beautifully caramelized, slightly caramelized squash is a thing of beauty. It's very sweet and nutty, and it makes a really nice warm flavor to the zucchini. It takes all that yucky water out, and actually you can taste the vegetable itself finally. So a little bit of brown is going to be a good thing in this instance. Hence the reason why your picture was barely, barely light green and not even barely colored is because it held up better for contrast against the red sauce. So that was a stunt picture. This is the real thing. So I've got a little less noise on the sizzling now. When it gets quieter, that means the water's evaporating off. So it's a little quieter. I'm going to give it a little bit of a turn. Spread them back out again. And you see I've got a little bit of brown starting. I've got some green liquid in the bottom of the pan here. That's zucchini juice, and we're going to let that cook off. Basically, the more surface area that I have in contact with that pan, the faster it's going to evaporate. So I'm going to spread these out and not crowd them. Whatever's soft and stringy, I'm going to put to the top of the pile. And whatever's not cooked is going to go to the bottom of the pile. So when the noise gets quieter and you stop seeing so much liquid bubbling in here, you turn them again. This will go on for a couple minutes, and yes, making this for a family of 5 is going to be a colossal pain in the butt. However, the results are delicious, and even my husband will eat this, and he thinks vegetables are toxic waste. So it's gotten quieter. Still got that green liquid in the bottom of the pan. I'm going to let that cook off a little bit. Or I'm going to help it along. And in case you're wondering what paper towels I'm using, I use Viva Choose a Size because they're really very lintless, and I can use them for food. They're food safe and clean, and they absorb really well without putting extra fluffy fibers into my food. So I drain food on them all the time. That's what's in the strainer here, is the Viva Choose a Size. 2 of them. I've got one going each direction like this in the filter basket. So we can turn the heat up even higher, but if I did, you wouldn't be able to hear what's going on, and it would be too noisy. But yes, you want to do a large pan. You want to do a handful at a time and do this in batches. You can do these ahead of time and hold them, so don't panic. If you have extra time, get yourself a couple pans going, 2 pans. You can put them all in the same strainer. Just give yourself plenty of time ahead of time to get this ready and prepped to go. So a little less noise, another turn. I'll show you this one right here. This has got a little bit of brown on the edge. That's perfect. That's what you want. The flavor is going to be nice and pretty on that one. I am going to turn my heat up to medium-high because we're going a little too slow for my liking, and this could take all day. So again, we're not salting. We're not doing anything fancy. If you do want to put garlic in here, Francesca, I'm talking to you, you certainly can. Just make sure it's small pieces. And keep the garlic moving, or you will toast it too brown and it will get bitter. So now these are getting pretty soft, but I want to get more water off. If I have a lot of water in this vegetable, when I put a salted sauce on top of it, you'll end up leaching more of that salt out. Leaching out the water. Forgive me, I got salt on the brain. Alright, we're getting close. They smell nice and nutty. They're getting pretty. Now with the smaller size noodle blades on there, this will go much, much faster. I'm just doing the larger size to demonstrate for you what it really looks like when you cook them. I do use the small one. It makes twice the handfuls, but it does go 10 times faster. So I'm going to call it good here. I have a little bit of brown going on in here. It's very pretty. It smells nice and nutty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my stove off. Now this is the important part right here. This is the money shot. This is the most important part. I need to drain the noodles some more. So we're going to cook them off, and we're going to drop them in here in the strainer with the paper, and we're going to let them sit. As you're cooking each batch, let them sit in there and drain off some more. After a good 20 minutes, actually when you make your pile, your additional vegetables, put them around the outside, put them in different piles, different spots, so bunch them up. You see I've got green liquid on the bottom of that thing? There's some green spots over here. That's extra juice dripping out. Make a pile, make another pile, make another pile, make another pile. Go around the strainer and just make little piles every batch you make. Give them their own place to drain, and then you're pretty much done. To reheat these, all you have to do is pour really screaming hot sauce back over the top of them, or put these paper towels, the whole thing, into a microwave safe plate container, and put them in the microwave, nuke them for about a minute, get them warm, and then pick them up and portion them on each plate. So there you have noodles, or zoodles. Don't salt these if you can help it. If you're making just a snack for yourself, you can toss this with Parmesan cheese and a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of salt right before you eat them. So no salt till right exactly before, or use your sauce as your salted agent. Hope that explains some things for you. Any questions, drop me a message. Bye.